Hello, Artful Manifestors. Thank you for joining me today for this timeless pick a card tarot reading. Today, we're receiving a message from your ancestors. And to choose your reading, you're going to choose from one of these three items or one of the cards I'm about to reveal. For reading number one, we have a fossilized shark tooth. And for reading number two, we have this sea bean. And for reading number three, we have Ammonite. All right, let's see what the cards are for reading number one. This is what the image looks like. And for reading number two, this is what the image looks like. And for reading number three, this is what the image looks like. All right, let your intuition, your inner wisdom be your guide. Whichever image or item you're most drawn to is most likely the reading meant for you. Of course, if you're drawn to two or even all three, then please listen to more than one, as there may be additional messages for you there. Enjoy your reading. Hello, reading number one. This is the image that you chose. Balance yourself. And we see here the colors of the four directions. So just as there are four directions, there are different areas in your life. You have your work life, your home life, your family, friends, your hobbies and interests. You have your health, your spirit, your mind, your emotions, all these different areas. And right now, your ancestors are saying that there is an imbalance. Perhaps you're putting too much time and energy in one area and not enough in another area. So it's not evenly distributed. Also, your ancestors want you to know that when you grow in one area of your life, it also helps you to grow in other areas in your life. So, for example, if you make if you achieve something if you make progress, that's what I was going to say. If you make progress in the area of your emotional intelligence, that is going to have a positive impact in all areas of your life, your relationships, your personal relationships, your familial relationships, your work life, how you handle stress. It impacts everything. So it's all part of a whole, and you're being guided to acknowledge that and balance it. And the item you chose is this fossilized shark tooth, which is an ancient power. It connects us to an ancient power, and your ancestors want you to know that you are powerful as well and a master of adaptation. You're resilient. You have an enduring spirit. And carrying one of these can strengthen your own instinct to survive and thrive through life's challenge, because, sharks are always moving forward. And that's what your ancestors want to remind you, is that you, whether it feels like it or not, you are always moving forward. And they want you to have the confidence and the courage and the fearlessness that a shark holds. They want you to feel empowered to move forward boldly. And that to remind you that fear is just part of instinct. And courage is choosing to move forward anyways. And fossilized shark teeth can help ground your energy. It aligns with the root chakra. So in addition to this instinct, there's also a trust, a survival trust that, you know, you've survived things before, you're going to continue to survive and thrive. And there's a power, a will, a purpose. And there's something to cut away, right? Because it is a sharp tooth. So maybe there's something that you're doing that you can cut away to bring balance. Let's find out more. The Fool. Look at the little butterfly. See that? The Oracle of Cups. And the Ten of Cups. Wow. That we have a shark tooth, and here we have a whale. What the cards are showing me, what your ancestors are telling me, is that the imbalance is in your emotions and your energy. We have two cups here, the Oracle of Cups, which is like the Queen of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. And cups are emotion. And what this tells me is that you are a very giving, nurturing, compassionate, loving soul. And because of that, you always are giving your energy to help others. You're always helping other people. You're always overflowing with this offering to others. However, when we give too much and we don't take time to nurture ourselves the way we nurture others, that creates an imbalance. And the other thing I'm seeing is, look at this coral down here and look at these mountains, right? They are boundaries. So the fear that you want to cut is the fear of setting boundaries with others and with yourself. It's like you don't want to hurt people's feelings, so you're always willing to help them. There's something about these rabbits. It's like it multiplies, right? You help them, you agree to help them do something, and then that ends up multiplying into more things to help them with. It's, the over giving versus receiving. How much are you receiving? The Queen of Cups is emotional attunement, but if there's an imbalance, it's that you're giving more than you're allowing yourself to receive. So whales, they swim in the deepest places, but they still come up for air. If you linger too long in your emotional depths, yours, or the emotional depths of others without surfacing, it begins to feel heavy and overwhelming. And we see these pearls here, and pearls are little hidden treasures inside. And perhaps you've been attending more to outer responsibilities than your inner sanctuary. Well medicine is deep listening, taking time each day to listen to your own song and what is being reflected back to you, that echo of it. You can do this through journaling, through meditation, singing, drumming, chanting, toning. This is going to help you attune to what you truly feel and need, not just what others bring to you or expect of you, or that you want to help others with. You want to honor your energy. And you're going to see that, we see a moon here. The moon has cycles. So you're going to see that your energy has cycles. And there's going to be some days where you have lots of time and energy to give to others, and some days that you don't. And in those days, those are kind of like, you could say they're the new moons, right? When you have to rest and reflect and allow yourself to be recharged. And now it could happen any time of the month. I'm calling it a new moon metaphorically, but it could happen any time of the month. If you hear something in the background, that's Debbie. She's lying right next to me. Okay. So just honoring your rhythm, honoring your own energy, and you can still be compassionate because you are a compassionate person while you set boundaries. You can say, I'd love to help you, but I can't. I'm sorry. And that's it. You don't have to explain. You know what? Thank you so much for inviting me to this party tonight, but I already have plans. You don't have to elaborate. Saying it with confidence. Remember, the shark tooth gives you confidence. The pearls, the other thing about pearls is how they're created, right? They're made when there's an irritation inside that animal. The sand becomes this irritation, and then that's transformed into something luminous, something beautiful. So your ancestors don't want you to feel ashamed for being annoyed or irritated when you're depleted. That is your emotions letting you know that you need to set boundaries. And coral reefs are communities that thrive on boundaries. Each organism holds its form, yet together they build beauty. So strengthening your own boundaries so that your connections can flourish without draining you. It's beautiful. Look at this little person down here. What are they doing? I hadn't noticed that yet. The Fool is answering the question how you can transmute fear into strength, because it can be scary to set these boundaries. When fear contracts, strength expands. That's what your ancestors are saying. The Fool doesn't wait until everything is certain. Their strength is born when the very act of stepping forward without certainty. So the lesson is that your strength is not the absence of fear, but your willingness to walk with it into the unknown. The Fool is all about stepping into the unknown. Every time fear arises, pause and take a breath, take a deep inhale. And we have the whale here who also takes those deep breaths. There's something about breathing. Take a deep, long inhale, a longer exhale. Let your shoulders drop, relax, and I trust my ancestors are with me. I trust this is for the highest and best good. I only need to step forward. And when you have that voice that wants to cause fear, well, what if it goes wrong? Then reply back to it. Well, what if it goes beautifully? What if they don't like it when I set boundaries? What if they're perfectly fine with you setting boundaries and now they actually like you more because you're a stronger, more empowered, beautiful. You're always beautiful, of course, but your beauty is more radiant when you are powerful and empowered and you're confident and courageous enough to set boundaries. So just when those little voices come up, just reply back to them with the opposite and live in that possibility. Curiosity transforms fear, the grip that fear holds, into a door of possibility. And the other thing that the Fool reminds you is sacred play. Laughing, music, what nurtures you, what feels like play to you. These are your hobbies, your interest, what makes your heart sing, okay? What you can do when you're by yourself and have fun and enjoy it. Being silly, being light, being childlike. And this also helps to keep fear away. The more you embody that inner child, the less you have the frequency of fear in you. It helps to, we're always talking about these different crystals, and this crystal does this, and this crystal does that. It aligns your energy. It clears your energy. When you embody your inner child and you play and you dance and you sing and you color and you swing on the swings, all of these things play out in nature, that is the same positive effect, probably even more powerfully so, as having these different crystals clearing your energy. So, tending to your inner child, taking these steps forward, responding with curiosity to that inner voice that wants to keep you safe by reminding you to be afraid. And remembering the power that you have, just like this shark. Yeah. Remembering your song. Definitely something about singing, breathing, maybe even jumping like a rabbit. Look at these foxes jumping as well. So we have the 10 of Cups. So if you can do the things, embody the energies of the Fool and the Oracle of Cups, then it leads to wholeness within yourself, wholeness in relationships. Remember, I talked about at the very beginning that if you progress in your emotional intelligence, your emotional maturity, that it would impact all of your relationships. And that's what I see happening, is that as you set boundaries, as you take care of yourself, nurture yourself, embody your inner child, that you have this even more open heart, this strength, this vitality, this beauty, this radiance, by tending to your inner waters, just like the Queen of Cups, the Oracle of Cups. You create space for genuine, joyful connection. And the 10 of Cups brings a sense of belonging and being loved for who you truly are. Instead of you acting out of fear and doing what you think others want you to do. Being who you truly are, setting those boundaries, honoring your energy, nurturing your inner child. It's this soul community beneath the rainbow. It speaks of a legacy of joy, of love, and acceptance. And it's not just happiness, but a sense that your life is in rhythm with the great river of existence. So beautiful. So despite having any fear, being open to adventure, new joy, curiosity with those inner voices, listening to your needs so that you can balance the giving and receiving. All of this is creating emotional clarity and replenishment. And together, they weave into the 10 of Cups. And balanced love manifest as harmony and connection and joy. Reading number 1, so excited for you. This is absolutely beautiful. Your life is just, it's this rainbow of love fulfilled. Please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 2. You chose this card. It says take time out. This is all about taking little breaks throughout the day during your work. Instead of working, 4, 5, 6 hours straight without stopping to take a break. Your ancestors want you to know that if you stop and take a little break, it can just be like 5 minutes every hour to stretch, to go for a little walk, change scenery, read a book, go outside and listen to the birds. Just taking these little breaks, they're actually going to increase your endurance. You're going to have more energy throughout the day, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You're going to have a greater bandwidth to deal with anything that comes your way. All right, now you know it's true. The dogs have spoken. So you'll have greater bandwidth to deal with any kind of issues that come up, any challenges, whether they're environmental, work-related, people-related, relationships. If you take time to stop and take little breaks, and you'll also be more creative. Whether you're a creative person or not. If you're a creative person, you'll be more creative. We're all creative. What I mean by if you're a creative person or not is, do you consider yourself creative in the sense that you paint or draw or make music or write? But we all are creative in our creative problem-solving skills. And so the more that you take these little breaks, it's like what they're showing me is when you play a video game and you have those different bars, a life bar and a mana bar and whatever other kind of bars there are. It's like when you take those little breaks, it fills up those bars so that you can face whatever comes your way. You also chose the sea bean, which is about transformation, new beginnings. It's about connection to waters, of course. And it's interesting that we see people here bathing. So there is a message about waters, maybe taking a break to drink water. Where I am right now, it is very hot. So if you happen to be working outdoors, even if it's something that you love, like gardening, taking time to take little water breaks, this is going to really help you. And using water as an ally. This can be everything from the water that you drink to going to visit the ocean or a river or a creek. Your ancestors are saying that you can really connect with them through water. These sea beans are symbols of resilience. They can travel great distances and, long journeys across seas and then still grow. They were carried by sailors and fishermen and travelers as insurance that they would stay protected and return. And so they remind you that you can withstand long soul journeys and still arrive intact and bearing new possibilities. They carry the essence of potential and renewal, and symbolize the truth that even after long periods of being adrift or feeling uncertain, life and growth remain possible. And, they're very buoyant. They float on the surface of the water. So they teach us that we can be both grounded and adaptable, because you can be rooted in who you are, yet able to go with the flow of the changing currents. They're also a symbol of luck and prosperity. They attract abundance. So there's something about your work, taking little breaks, connecting with bodies of water and drinking water, restoring yourself through water cleanses, and being rooted in yourself and going with the flow and attracting abundance. Wow, it's a lot coming through. So we're going to get some more details. Let me let the dogs back in. All right, let's find out what else your ancestors want you to know about how you can be rooted yet adaptable, grounded and adaptable, rooted in who you are and able to go with the flow. And attract more abundance. How you can trust the tides to bring you what is needed. Oh, all right. 10 of Wands. The Chariot. And the World. Wow, this World card really likes to come out. It's so interesting. We're talking about water, and then in the 10 of Wands, we see this storm, rainwater, yet another sacred water for you to connect with. The 10 of Wands shows this bird carrying all these wands. And the message is that it's too much. It's too much weight to bear. It's too much of a burden, because some of these wands align with your highest and best good. They align with the direction you're meant to move in, the direction that you want to move in. But some of these wands represent things that aren't yours to carry. It could be something that someone else expects of you. It could be an old pattern, an obligation, the fear of letting someone down. When things start to feel heavy, this is the clue. When things start to feel heavy, like a chore or an obligation, somebody asks you to do it and you feel this heaviness, this dread, that is your inner compass letting you know that that's no longer in alignment with you. So feeling the weight of all the things that you do is going to be a clue to you as to which is serving your growth and your joy and which is depleting you. And then the guidance is to keep only what strengthens your roots and your soul, and release what is oppressing you, what is weighing you down, even if at one point it was good for you. What they're showing me is somebody that has a pair of shoes that they've outgrown. You wore these shoes when you were younger and your feet were smaller, and they were great, and they helped you run fast and jump and skip. And you loved the colors, but your feet grew and they don't fit on your feet anymore. And so now they're tripping you up. They're a hindrance. And that's the same thing with these wands that you're carrying. Some of them are good for you. Some of them are in alignment. Some of them, it's time to put them down, to release them, so that your roots can grow stronger. And you can also delegate some of these wands. And by doing that, it's like, the mycelium network that connects different roots of different trees and plants. And so it's like you're reaching out to other people's roots when you ask them to carry wands, jobs, responsibilities, to carry part of the load, because those things may align with them, and then it also creates this network, this community, and it strengthens everybody's roots. And this brings balance between responsibility and support. So that support is part of the flow that we talked about. And the responsibility is that rootedness. So when you distribute it that way, you have a greater rootedness and a greater flow. So this rootedness comes from clarity of knowing what is yours to hold and what is yours to relinquish or delegate. And it can come as a request. You may be asking exactly the right person who loves to do the thing that you're delegating, and it helps them grow as well. It's like, again, they're showing me the mycelium network in trees. You have this tree that needs whatever element, we'll say nitrogen. And you have this other tree that has too much nitrogen. And so it passes that nitrogen through the mycelium network to the tree that needs the nitrogen. And that's what you're doing by letting somebody else handle some of these responsibilities. It helps them grow, just like that nitrogen is helping that other tree to grow. And it helps you to trust in the currents. What's yours to hold? What's yours to control? And helps you to stand tall because you're not carrying so much. It's going to give you more energy. Too much of something is not necessarily good either, right? We can have too much water. Too much water and you drown. So releasing what's not yours, strengthening community by delegating, and lightening your load. And the Chariot is how you're going to trust the tides to bring you what you need and attract abundance. So the Chariot teaches this paradox because we see these horses that are facing in different directions. It seems like they're pulling in different directions, right? And sometimes we're pulling in different directions. We want one thing, but we're doing something that is pulling us in another direction than what we want. So it's like different parts of us aren't aligned. They're doing different things. Maybe you hear little scratches. That's Debbie. She's trying to get comfortable over here. So abundance flows to those who surrender to the waters and steer with intention. It's not passive drifting, but it's also not rigid control. It's an art, it's the sacred art of guiding the currents without resisting them. So seeing how you can use the conditions in a way that propels you forward faster rather than working against the currents. And this can be all within yourself, the currents within yourself. They're showing me someone who, you have 5 things to do. And maybe in your mind, you think you need to do this thing first, then this thing, then this thing, then this thing, right? And you start doing this thing and you're struggling with it. It's not working. Logically, you felt like you're supposed to do this thing first. But there's this other part of you that's like, do this thing first. And you're like, no, I can't do that thing first because I have to do this thing first, right? But if you would do this other thing first and then go back to that first thing, it's actually going to go smoother. It's that kind of thing. It's just like kind of noticing where the energy is flowing you to. As long as you get all those things done, maybe it doesn't matter the order that you do it. It's just an example. And not forcing outcomes. It's about holding the reins lightly, guiding with clarity, while trusting that the currents, the ocean, the river itself, to provide that momentum. And the sacred direction is abundance is magnetized not by scattering your energy, but by a steady sense of direction. So the tide responds to energy that knows where it's headed. So, you have the shore here, and you just need to get to that shore. And it doesn't have to be a straight line. It can kind of be like this, going with the currents, as long as you get there. So set a clear, heart-centered intention for what you need, not from fear or lack, but from the truth of your soul. You can even write it down as if it already exists. The tide brings me nourishment, love, abundance. Release the how, okay? That's what's going to trip you up. It's what they're showing me is it's like you have this desire, but then this logic keeps getting in the way. You have this narrow idea of how it's supposed to happen. Release that how. So just like you can't command exactly how the waves are going to happen and whether or not it rains, how the sea is going to behave, you can still steer in a way that the tide's going to carry you where you want to go. We can't micromanage how the abundance arrives in our life. as long as it arrives, and just trusting in that. And knowing that it has rhythms, moving with those rhythms. The tide has cycles, and so does abundance. So align your actions with these natural rhythms, whether that's moon cycles or planting cycles or your own energy cycles. Flow amplifies when you honor that timing. And the Chariot says, drive with confidence. Abundance is attracted to those who move with trust, not doubt. So step forward with confidence, with courage, and the tide will meet your momentum. And the world is wholeness, it's completion, it's the positive outcome of aligning your mind and your heart, the timing with the current conditions, and releasing what's not yours to carry. Then you arrive at a place where everything feels whole, like there's nothing missing. The world is the moment when the wandering sea being finds its shore. You become rooted in yourself and at one with the greater ocean. The burdens you released and the trust that you cultivate crystallize into integration, and all parts of yourself, your past lives, your soul journey, it all flows together into a single radiant circle. So with the world, you have harmony with currents. You no longer fight the tide. You're not, a leaf on the wind. You're not helpless. You move with it like a dancer moves with music. This is true abundance, being in rhythm with life. So beautiful. Reading number 2, please let me know how this resonates. I love to read your comments, and I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye. Hello, reading number 3. You chose whole self-health. And I love that with the Ammonite, because Ammonites carry the spiral of eternity, the unfolding of time, evolution. They help you attune to your ancestral wisdom, and you have a spiral of life within your lifetime, but you're also connected to the spiral of life of your lineage. What your ancestors did before you is tied to your life, and what you do is tied to them and what comes next. So there's this constant evolution, and the whole self-health is about being mindful of what you consume. All right, we see all this delicious, beautiful, healthy food, and that is part of it. Consuming things that are good for your body, and your ancestors want to remind you to consume what's good for your heart, your mind, your emotions, your spirit, because you are what you eat. You are what you consume, whether that is food or media or the energy that you surround yourself with. You're absorbing and consuming all of these things. The words, the lyrics that you sing in songs, what do they say? Because they are programming your mind. The things that you read, the things that you watch on TV, you're consuming all of that stuff, And your ancestors want to remind you to consume things that are good for you. Ammonites are all about this constant evolution, this spiral, this expansion. You're always growing. And it ties perfectly with this card. The way that you grow is through what you surround yourself with, what you consume. So what do you want to add to this spiral? And that's what you want to make sure that you consume. It's also elemental wholeness. We have whole self here, and the Ammonite embodies earth, water, air, and fire. It's fossilized, that's the earth part. It's water because its origin is from an ancient ocean. The spiral is the breath of life, which is the element of air. And it's transformed over time, which is the element of fire. So it has all the elements. So again, there's this idea of wholeness, whole self. It's considered a stone of prosperity and vitality because it transforms stagnant energy into life force, and it can absorb negative, heavy energy and release it as light and motion. And your ancestors want you to know that you are an agent of alchemy, that you too have the ability to transform. Ammonite shells embody that Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio. They align you with natural harmony and sacred geometry. This balances the flow of chi or prana in the body, restoring order and energy when it feels chaotic. All right, let's find out more about how you can do that. Three of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, and Eight of Wands. The Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, and your ancestors want you to know that you are always collaborating with them. We see here bees working together to create a home, to create a hive. And you have in your bones, your blood, your spirit, everything about you, your ancestors' skills, knowledge, and vision. You are a living legacy of your ancestors. The wisdom you seek is not only in ritual or memory, it is alive in your body, in your hands, in your voice, in the things you create. You embody your ancestors' unspoken dreams. This is practical plus spiritual fused together. It's a fusion of the practical and the spiritual. Your ancestral wisdom flows best when you invite it into earthly work. We see outdoors, right? So it's gardening, cooking, building, writing. Every time you create, you give your ancestors voice. And the more time you spend in nature, the more you become this clear channel for your ancestors. Now you can, before you begin a project like a drawing or a painting or a garden or planting something specific or cooking something, you can connect to your ancestors mentally. You can make a ritual, you can light candles, you can beat a drum, or you can just simply call out to them. Ancestors, work beside me. Place your hands upon me. Let's build this together. Work through me. And then notice what insights, nudges, or synchronicities arise while you're doing that work. So you invite your ancestors to come and garden with you. And as you garden, you're going to have these little nudges, like maybe I should plant this over here, or questions. And it's like a conversation with your ancestors, and it's your ancestors working alongside you, giving you suggestions. Do the same thing when you cook. Ancestors come and stand with me as I cook, guide me, and then just wait and see what happens. Do it when you paint, when you draw, when you write, when you make music. And you do it when you dance. Ask them to come dance with you. They'll love that. The Three of Pentacles is sacred architecture. You're building something together, something sacred. And it often, points to some kind of structure. Here we see a beehive. So you might even create a physical altar or ancestral space. It could be shells. It could be, ammonites. It can be stones, feathers, seeds, heirlooms, to give their wisdom a home in your home, in your presence, in your present. Your ancestors often speak through others. All right. Now, these people may not be aware that they are channeling your ancestors, but your ancestors have a way of speaking through other people. So these could be elders, this could be family stories, this could be cultural traditions. When you're gathered with others, that's when some of these ancestral messages come through that you may not have received alone, because the Three of Pentacles is also about community. So listening to your community and using your skills as a portal. So think of a skill that maybe your ancestors may have also practiced. Maybe it's pottery, or cooking is definitely one. Maybe some kind of singing. I mentioned dancing, healing, if you're a healer, gardening, farming, crafting, anything that you feel drawn to, that you feel your ancestors may have practiced. And when you practice it, you are literally placing your hands where theirs once were. You're holding that clay, their hands held that clay. The wisdom transmutes through muscle, breath, and rhythm. You are a living channel of your ancestors. The Seven of Swords is kind of a paradoxical teacher here, because, it usually carries the energy of shadows and secrecy and strategy or misplaced trust. And the question I asked was, how can you transmute heavy energy and release it as light and motion? So I feel many of you are healers. And you're meant to, this is a craft that you share with your ancestors. This is something that you embody. It's in your DNA, in your blood, in your bones. And so when we take that into consideration, then the message of the Seven of Swords becomes more clear. The heaviest energy is often what we don't face directly. It's unspoken fears, it's unacknowledged wounds or subtle drains. Many times the people that come to you to be healed, they may not even know that they need to be healed, or they don't know exactly what needs to be healed. And it doesn't matter. It's just energy. And it's like you're going to pick up old patterns, ancestral burdens, or projections in these people and in yourself. And you're going to be able to transmute that. The Seven of Swords is clever. It knows how to slip away unnoticed. And Spirit is showing you, you don't have to fight heavy energy head on. You can release it quietly through movement, through breath, through ritual, and by not giving it more power. So, for example, somebody that's angry, there is a wound there, right? You don't even have to know what the wound is. But if you stop acting angry, you catch yourself before you start cussing or yelling or kicking things, whatever, however that anger is expressed. You catch yourself and you stop the act. It's like, we are spiritual beings temporarily living in a physical body. And they're showing me acupuncture, how acupuncture kind of sends the energy the other way through the physical body, through these channels of energy to the spirit to heal something. And so it's like this anger, for example, that's being expressed in unhealthy ways. It's like this fire that's out of control. And if you stop giving it oxygen, stop giving it air, then that fire dies down, right? And it's the same thing. Whatever it is that you're trying to release, if you stop feeding it, stop acting upon it, then you can release it. You can transmute it into light. And the story that some people carry, sometimes it feels like they can't set it down. We see all these swords on the ground. But when you see through this illusion, right? It's just an illusion that you can't set it down. Then you reclaim your freedom. It's that heaviness is deceptive because it feels like this story that somebody keeps telling themselves. So that's why they can't put it down, because they're carrying it around. They keep retelling that story. So for some people, it's going to be a story that they keep telling, and that's the fuel that keeps that energy alive. So by not talking about it anymore, that's going to help it to wither. The more it's talked about, the more it feeds it. I'm reminded of a friend of mine who told me that in her culture, they don't name things that are wrong. So, or somebody might say that they hurt their knee and that their knee has this torn, I don't know what they're called, tendons or whatever. They would never say that. Instead, they might say something like, oh, my knee is talking to me, right? Your knee's talking to you, letting you know it needs something, but not labeling it as being injured, not saying that you are sick. Speaking what you want, that is how you transmute this heaviness into light. When you heal somebody, you're working with their energy, you see their light, their spirit, their eternal essence. And all the other stuff, it's like you're pulling it off, you're plucking it off. It doesn't belong there. It's not actually theirs. Yeah, you're definitely a healer. For yourself, you can journal, you can walk and release things as you walk. For example, you can carry a few stones that are like your swords, those things that hurt us, right? And as you walk, you breathe and you let go of that stone, of that story, of that anger, of that grief. You keep releasing things as you walk. So these are things that you can do to heal yourself, because everybody that's a healer must also heal themselves. That's how we carry the medicine. And the Eight of Wands is, once you've let go of all of these burdens of stories that were keeping you back, holding you down, the swords that maybe were impeding you or hurting you, the Eight of Wands is fast moving energy. Now you move freely. What was stagnant becomes light in motion, just as we asked of the Seven of Swords. And messages from your ancestors, from your guides, from living allies, they reach you a lot quicker. The channels are open, the synchronicities multiply, confirmations arrive, and you feel like you're in the current of spirit. And you have alignment with the spiral, just like the chambers of the Ammonite. Everything lines up with the Eight of Wands. It shows these multiple energies moving together. See how they all fly together, right? It's very orchestrated and it's flowing and it's accelerated because it's all working together. It's the whole self working together. So beautiful. Yeah. And with the burdens dropped, your manifestation speeds up. What you call in arrives faster. This is a card of momentum, progress, and divine timing. So freed from any hidden weight, you move with the spiral of life, and the energy flows swiftly through you and around you. You're in rhythm with spirit's current. Beautiful reading. Reading number 3. I'm so excited for you. Please let me know if you already know that you're a healer, or if you had an inkling, or if you're working on your own healing journey. Perhaps you will later become a healer for others. I'm wishing you the best. The light in me sees the light in you. Thank you. Bye.